Man, I thought today was just going to be a normal Monday day off following the goddamn Phillies winning a series against the New York Mets. But no, it is June 23rd, and as the history books in the city of Philadelphia specifically, cater to our hockey team, the Philadelphia Flyers, June 23rd is normally a big day for the orange and the black in terms of trades, and holy goddamn shit, did they ever make a trade? Did they do it again? Yes, for some reason, the Philadelphia Flyers like making big trades on the day of June 23rd. And thank God it is an off day for the Phillies, so this will be basically the biggest breaking news that we get of today, possibly. So, Flyers trade for Trevor Zegras. This literally came out of nowhere. This happened basically a few minutes ago. we saw from Frank Saravalli that the Flyers were maybe the biggest team going after Trevor Zegras, and then minutes later you see Elliot Friedman saying that Trevor Zegras is being traded to Philadelphia, and everybody in the Flyers Twitterverse, the Flyers universe is just like, oh my God, June 23rd, they did it again, they did it again, they did it again. Danny Briere is at it. Danny Briere is on his high horse. Danny Briere is doing his thing. It is the Danny Briere of the Philadelphia Flyers offseason. And then basically we're just waiting for the return on the trade that what the Flyers would be sending over to the Anaheim Ducks. And I was kind of thinking that, is Anaheim asking for one of the late first rounders? Is any of the first or second round picks going to be utilized in this trade? And honest to God, I'm very shocked that this was all the package that it was. This is a fantastic trade. When I read you this entire trade package for Trevor Zegras, this is a great trade, fantastic trade by Danny Briere. It's more of a low risk, high reward type of thing. So Jordan Hall puts it up here. So Jordan Hall puts down the entire thing, credits Elliot Friedman and all that stuff. So a source confirms that Jordan Hall of NBC Sports Philadelphia, a source confirms the Flyers are acquiring Trevor Zegras in a trade with the Anaheim Ducks. They're sending Ryan Poehling, a second rounder in this year's draft, which I believe is pick 45 if I'm not mistaken, and a fourth rounder in next year to the Anaheim Ducks. And the Flyers still have 3 fourth rounders in this draft, so they gave up one of the many fourth rounders that they do have, and I'm not sure if Jordan Hall missed, but the Flyers, they gave up one of the many second round picks that they have. So it was pick 45. They had 4 second round picks, 3 first round picks. Now they have 3 second round picks, 3 first round picks. So they still keep 6 of the 7 picks that they had in the first 2 rounds. So you basically gave up nothing. You gave up Ryan Poehling, who was a very serviceable bottom 6 forward for you the past couple of seasons. You give him and a couple of non-essential picks, basically. You gave up one of the many second-round picks that you have, and you give up a useless 4th-round pick in next year's draft. That's a fantastic trade on the stance of Danny Briere. And you possibly, you get a center maybe for Trevor Zegras. I know there's a lot of stats out there that he's been very terrible on faceoffs the past couple of seasons. And I know with Trevor Zegras, he has been dealing with the injury bug as well the past couple of years. I still don't think Trevor Zegras has fully hit his ceiling in the NHL because there's still immense talent with Trevor Zegras. He just probably was never going to figure it out with the Anaheim Ducks. He probably just never was always going to be doing that. And basically, his main issue is staying healthy, like Julian says in the chat right here. The skill is there. The skill is eminent. There's still probably some more untapped potential, and maybe surrounding him with a better roster, surrounding him with a talent like Matvei Michkov, possibly can bring out more of his skill. Imagine, just imagine a line right now of Trevor Zegras and Matvei Michkov. Like, holy shit, that is a great line put together. And there's also some rumors out there that the Flyers are possibly signing the top KHL free agent Shabanov from the KHL. I believe he was up for the MVP this year. I know a lot of people are going to complain about him being short, but that dude's also immensely skilled, and he showed his immense talent in the KHL this year. I believe his team went to the finals and lost the finals. So you bring in Trevor Zegras, you're most likely bringing in the KHL top free agent in Shabanov. That is 2 immensely skilled forwards that you're bringing into this Flyers group right now. And it's something that a lot of Flyers fans have been asking for. Just bring more skill. Bring more players with, high-end type of talent into the team. And Danny Briere has finally possibly done that with some of these players, and you really didn't have to give up any of your main roster guys. You just gave up Ryan Poehling, which is a guy that is very replaceable. So that is a fantastic trade by Daniel Briere. Fantastic stuff right there by one Daniel Briere. It's great stuff. It's great stuff. You also reunite Trevor Zegras with Jamie Drysdale, because I know those guys were best friends going back to the Anaheim Ducks days. I think there's some connections with Zegras and Cam York going back to Team USA World Juniors and United States Development Program and all that stuff, so there's probably some connections there. Even though the Flyers, Cam York is still technically an RFA, so there definitely could be something more. Maybe they could be looking to trade a Cam York or something like that. There's a lot of stuff that could be still going down in terms of the draft is this Friday, and the Flyers still basically have all the ammo that they have. I know Danny Briere and Brett Flair talked, I believe it was a week and a half ago, last week or something like that, for their pre-draft press conference, and it really was just word garbage. They really were to tell you what their initial plan was, which is very much expected from the Flyers front office. And it really does seem like this Flyers front office, you don't hear anything until the moves happen. Everything is literally kept behind closed doors. Any rumor that you hear is probably a fucking lie, and it's looking to drag you in a different direction than what they're actually doing. So, I believe there was an article from Anthony DeMarco at the fourth period talking about, the Cam York contract talks and all that stuff, and I forget what other players they were possibly talking about, but they could be driving you in the path that they might be trying to extend Cam York, and then they go in a completely different pack saying, nope, we were fucking lying to you. We were actually trying to trade Cam York the entire time. So it basically just goes to the point that don't believe any rumors that are tied around the Flyers until something actually happens, because what this front office has actually done really well is just keep all the information in closed doors, and you really just don't hear about it until anything happens. You didn't hear anything about Cutter Gauthier until the trade happened. You didn't hear anything about the behind-the-scenes problems with Gauthier until the trade happened. You didn't, what other trades that, you didn't hear? The Ivan Provorov trade when Danny Briere first came into office of the Flyers general manager position. What other trades did Danny Briere make? I'm trying to think of, the other moves that, the Flyers, we all knew the Scott Laughton trade was probably eventually going to happen. I'm trying to think of all the other moves. Basically, I can't really think of it all the top of my head. I probably should have some list right here on Danny Briere's trade history, but that's seriously, I rushed into this entire thing because this was just the most shocking thing that I've seen in the entire day. But my God, it's definitely a very crazy day right here. Definitely a very crazy day. And the Flyers officially made it official on their Twitter page. They acquired forward Trevor Zegras in exchange for Ryan Poehling, the 45th pick in the 2025 draft, and a 2026 fourth round pick. That is such a great move. That is such a great move because you didn't give up anything, basically. You didn't give up anything. It is a very low-risk, high-reward type of thing. If we go to Trevor Zegras' stats over the past couple of years, you could definitely see the pattern with the last two seasons. He put up 32 points in 57 games this year. Obviously, this year he only played 57 games. In 2023, 2024, he only played 31 games, so injuries were definitely the major setback for Trevor Zegras the past couple of seasons. He put up 15 points in 31 games, but then you go to the seasons where he really wasn't injured. You go to I believe that's his rookie season, 2020, 2021. That was the COVID shortened season, and he put up 13 points in 24 games. And then in 2021, 2022, he put up 61 points in 75 games. Some good stuff there. Then in 2022, 2023, 81 games played, he put up 65 points, 23 goals, 42 assists. So you see the potential of him with scoring. He could be a 20-plus goal guy. He could probably get more assists up there. He could probably get more goals if you're, if you put surrounded with a better roster, and if he can also just stay healthy. You pair him with Matvei Michkov, and Trevor Zegras can stay healthy. There's probably a lot untapped potential that you can bring out with a Trevor Zegras, because the guy is immensely skilled. You see all the Michigans that he does. You see all these fancy moves, these fancy dekes that he can make when he is out there on the ice. It's really good stuff. It's really good stuff. It's really just the matter of the point. He needs to stay healthy. And he's still very young enough. He's only 24 years old. He also has one more year left on his contract, if I'm not mistaken. It's one more year left at $5.75 million. He signed a 3-year, extension a couple of years ago with Anaheim. Now he's in the last year of his deal going into this season. He's going to be an RFA after this upcoming season. So definitely could earn himself a payday if he does have a big year with the Flyers, or the Flyers can sign him to another bridge, type of thing here, or you never know what happens here. You could cut your losses or something. We'll just wait and see. This is definitely a very, very much low risk, high reward type of move, and it is a very, very good trade for the Philadelphia Flyers. The Anaheim Ducks GM Pat Verbeek also came out with a quote here on the trade. While this was a difficult trade to make, we have and will continue to look at retooling on roster over the next couple of months, and this transaction is part of that process. We wish Trevor Zegras the best of luck with the Philadelphia Flyers. So that is very good stuff. And then Alexander Appleyard, a guy that covers a lot of the European prospects, and is also mentioned on PHLY Flyers a few times here, does a lot of good work, and he's also analytically driven as well. Zegras has never scored below a 1.87 points per 60 at 5v5 at any point in any season of his career. So it's basically, I know really people are not going to understand a lot of the analytic stuff here. Most of the time I don't either, but what this tells me is if Trevor Zegras stays healthy, he will contribute. He will put points on the point sheet. And likely, like I said, when you're playing him with better players, better quality players, when you're putting him on a line possibly with Matvei Michkov, maybe you put him on a line with Travis Konechny or something like that, you have a chance for him to produce more than he probably would have being with the Anaheim Ducks, because he probably was expected with Anaheim before, they got Leo Carlson and all that stuff, before they got all the other young guys. He was probably expected to be the main driving force of their offense, and maybe that was probably the worst thing that they could have done to him, like throw him to the Sharks right away. And for the Flyers, he could definitely be shielded a little bit, but you're also playing him on a line with Matvei Michkov, who led all rookies last year in goal scoring. So, and we know that Matvei Michkov, going into the offseason, he told Danny Briere that he basically gave Danny Briere a list of things that he's going to work on to improve on in the offseason to make sure that he is better for this upcoming season. You've got a very motivated Matvei Michkov that just always wants to improve and always wants to find a way to be the best that he could possibly be one of the best players in the league, be one of the best players that he could be for this franchise. If you put a player that is a low-risk, high-reward type of player, a player that probably needs a change of scenery, and also, yes, a chance to maybe finally have a healthy season going into a full healthy season, hopefully for him. You put him on a line with Matvei Michkov, he's probably going to produce. Matvei Michkov, from what basically it looked like the entire season, even though he played with so many different players, he was on so many different line combinations. And yeah, sometimes you wouldn't see Matvei Michkov produce. There will be many times where there was a long stretch where he would produce. There was a few stretches where he wasn't producing. But it kind of does feel like Matvei Michkov, for the relatively only 1 year, it kind of felt like he made some of the players better around him. And you put a player that's still very young and has a lot of untapped potential in Trevor Zegras, a guy that probably has a very similar skill set to Matvei Michkov. Both guys are immensely skilled. You put those two together, it could mesh very well, and it could be very fun to watch. Now imagine something. Imagine something that would be very fucking funny. Both Matvei Michkov and Trevor Zegras hit the Michigan on opening night as a fucking double bird to John Tortorella, basically. John Tortorella would be screaming on his fucking couch and like... he would fucking hate it. Imagine if John Tortorella was still in the Flyers organization and they acquired Trevor Zegras. He's like, oh my God, I already had to deal with one guy having to do to Michigan constantly. Now I got to deal with two. Now I'll try to prevent him from doing the Michigan. I'll make him a good two-way guy. No, you don't try to take away the strengths of a player and the strengths of Trevor Zegras from what it looks like. He does have offensive talent. It's just a fact of him needing to stay healthy. That is the major thing with Trevor Zegras. He needs to stay healthy. He needed to stay healthy. As all of Flyers Twitter is just going around saying happy June 23rd right now. And relatively, everyone that I'm seeing here on Twitter loves the deal. Loves the deal. It is a very good deal for the Flyers. And everyone's just saying, wow, that Zegras return. That Zegras return. Oh, man. Man, oh, man, oh, man, oh, man, oh, man. Now, it definitely is a risk if you're the Flyers. It definitely is a big risk because you're taking a guy that hasn't been healthy the past couple of seasons. It's not a risk from the production standpoint because when he is in the lineup, he is producing. Like I said, 57 games played this past season. He put up 32 points. Granted, it's not point per game pace, but he's still putting up points. He had 17 power play points in his best season in 2022-2023. He also had 17 power play points in 2021-2022. Now imagine if he's putting up on a power play, hopefully a better Flyers power play, hopefully with Matvei Michkov. Maybe that's more power play points. Imagine that the Flyers had a fucking better power play going into next season. Hopefully that's the case. 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 I would kill for the Flyers to just have a mediocre power play because the power play has just been so bad for freaking 3 billion years in a row. I've never seen a good Flyers power play in my life. That's a lie. That's a lie. I have seen a good Flyers power play in my life. But in the past, like so many years, I haven't seen a good Flyers power play. It's been in the basement of the league for the past like 3, 4, 5 seasons, it feels like. It really has been. Holy fucking shit. Holy fucking shit. Now imagine that the Flyers have a good power play. Imagine if they have a good power play. Imagine if Trevor Zegras and Matvei Michkov were the main catalyst to that power play. And granted, Danny Briere is probably going to make many more moves this offseason. This is just only the start, most likely. He has so much ammo to make. He has so much ammo to give. Now, I don't know what he's going to do in the upcoming draft. I don't know what player they're going to go after. Like I said, you don't know what's going to happen with the Flyers until something happens. That's the way this front office keeps the information, lip sealed, basically. Any rumor that you hear about the Flyers that's written in articles that, any NHL insider puts out there, it's most likely a lie to draw you in a different direction, to drag you in a different direction. You'll be shot one way while the Flyers go in another direction. They just lie. They're just flat out liars. And maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that is a very good thing for this team. That they just completely lie. Holy shit. Holy shit. Let's see. Oh, here you go. Someone put out the entire trade history on June 23rd for the Flyers. Holy fucking shit, there are a lot of trades. There are a lot of fucking trades here. So the June 23rd in Flyers history, trade history. They traded Mike Richards to the Kings. They traded Jeff Carter to the Columbus Blue Jackets. They also traded Scott Hartnell to the Columbus Blue Jackets. They signed Ilya Bryzgalov. Oh, my God. They traded Braden Shen to the St. Louis Blues. That was the day of the draft. They drafted Nolan Patrick second overall. They traded JVR to the Maple Leafs. Michkov confirmed to be coming over 2 years early. And then they traded for Trevor Zegras. Holy fucking shit. June 23rd is the definitely definitely a crazy thing here. Definitely a crazy thing here. And someone pointed out there that Cam York is good friends with Trevor Zegras based on what I understand. Wonder if that helps both guys get their NHL careers back on track. Maybe that is maybe that's the thing. Maybe they don't trade Cam York right now. Maybe they don't. But I think he's also really good friends with Jamie Drysdale. So we'll see what happens. The Flyers always talk about getting bigger on the blue line and getting more size because they're not big enough on the blue line. So I really want to know what type of moves that they make for the defensive pairings. And if, somebody has to be the odd guy out on the blue line, whether that's Drysdale, whether that's Cam York, whether that possibly be Emil Andre, that could be a thing. Because they still have Rasmus Ristolainen going into this year, unless they do make a move to trade Rasmus Ristolainen somewhere else. I don't know what they're going to do in terms of the blue line, so there definitely is a lot of intriguing things there on what they can do. There definitely is a lot of intriguing things here. And then the Hockey News Hub, the guy that, broke the Matvei Michkov coming over early thing last season, he said, what's the over-under amount on Michigan's attempted by the Flyers next season? Holy shit. That is hilarious. That is hilarious. But now this definitely does make things interesting going to the draft because you did just trade for a center possibly. Now, if Zegras stays at center this year, they probably will play him at center with Matvey Michkov. But depending on what they do in the draft, does this trade maybe change a little bit of things here? I know Bob McKenzie's scouting his draft rankings, I believe, are coming out anytime soon. They probably just came out, actually, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it says they're coming out Monday at 11:30. And okay, let's see. Let's see if he has his full list out here. Let's see his draft ranking. Here we go. Does he have the full draft ranking right here? Here we go. We have a full Bob McKenzie draft ranking. So obviously he has Misa and Schaefer at number 1 and 2, which makes very much sense. So who does he have at number 3? He has Porter Martone at number 3, Anton Frondell at number 4, Caleb Deonoye at number 5, and Jake O'Brien at 6, with James Higgins going 7, Brady Martin 8, Roger McQueen 9, Victor Eklund 10. Then okay, here we go. Here's his full list. His final draft blanket. So he has Matthew Schaefer number 1, Michael Misa number 2, which is very much obvious. Porter Martone 3, so maybe he doesn't fall in the draft. Anton Frondell 4, Caleb Deonoye at 5, Jake O'Brien at 6, James Higgins at 7, Brady Martin at 8, Roger McQueen 9, Victor Eklund 10, Radim Murtka at 11, Jackson Smith at 12, Kayshawn Aichison at 13, Carter Bear at 14, Logan Hensler at 15, Justin Carbonneau at 16, and then Jackson Nesbitt, Braden Coots, Cole Resney, Layden Lakovic, Colin Potter, Ben. Okay, so basically a lot of the other stuff here. But that is very interesting. That is very interesting that he has Jake O'Brien at 6 and James Hagan at 7. So maybe there's something there. I know Anthony Sanfilippo of Snow the Goalie and On Patterson also mentioned that that's what he's hearing. The Flyers are very high on Deontay, but they don't think that Deontay is going to fall to 6. He most likely will be picked before 6. And then talks about Jake O'Brien, talks about James Higgins possibly, maybe Braden Martin. So we'll definitely see. We'll definitely see where this draft that definitely makes things a little bit interesting. But we'll see. So it's at this point I would expect the Flyers to either draft Jake O'Brien or James Higgins. Or maybe a Porter Martone does fall in the draft. Maybe they do go Porter Martone. Who knows? But that would be very interesting. Just trying to see if there's anything else. Someone said Brady Market, welcome to Philadelphia. Yeah, so that's the Bob McKenzie draft rankings. So we'll see where that takes them. Who would I want the Flyers to select in the NHL draft? I'd probably go James Higgins over as my first choice. But then I'd be very fine with a guy like a Jake O'Brien. I'd be fine with a Caleb Deonoye. Brady Martin, I know he's rising up the draft rankings as we speak, basically, at this point. I would basically take any center that's ranked in the top 6, top 7, whether that's, Frondell, whether that's Deonoye, whether that's Jake O'Brien, James Higgins. Misa's not going to fall. Schaefer's obviously not going to fall. There is a slight chance that Martone does fall because you never know because Islanders won the draft lottery. Utah moved up to 4, so there definitely could be something very weird with Utah in their draft selection. We don't know where the Chicago Blackhawks are going to go with their draft selection. So there's definitely a lot of crazy things that could happen in this top 6 that maybe a guy could fall to the Flyers that probably wouldn't have been there if maybe they were, a normal team would have selected them in the position that they were expected to be. But it's definitely an interesting thing here, man. It's definitely interesting. It's very an intriguing process. But we'll see. Let's see. And there's also some rumors with the Flyers and the Buffalo Sabres as well going into Friday. So I wonder if there's, J.J. Peterka was also a name that was brought up many times the Flyers are interested in. Or I believe it was a guy like Bowen Byram the Flyers were interested in and something like that. So they're definitely, even though I talked about rumors and, just taking those with a grain of salt with the Flyers being tied to rumors because you don't know what happens until it happens. But we'll see. We'll see. Trevor Zegras on Jamie Drysdale via Derek Lee. We pretty much do everything together. We pee together, we injure together, and we sleep together. Oh man. Oh man. Let's see. Let's see. Is there anybody else that's talking about the trade? Yeah, majority of people are saying that the Flyers are. It's a good trade for the Flyers, and it realistically should be a good trade for the Flyers. If Russ Joy puts out if the Flyers get Shabanoff, there might not be a more intriguing line of young players in the Eastern Conference than Shabanoff, Zegras, and Mitchkov. Defensive responsibilities be damned. That would be a very funny line. That would be a very funny line. So interesting. I'm still like speechless about this entire thing. That would be the funniest line though. That would be the funniest line though. Let's see what else is there. What else is there? We do have a voicemail here on the Anytime Hotline from Sean. He just left one a couple of minutes ago. We also have some guys here in the chat here. We'll get to you guys as well. I'm just searching the Twitter pool just to see if there's anything else here. Trying to see if there's anything else. Nope, people are just talking about the entire thing. Brandon J. Summerman, a guy that also covers the Flyers, says this deal, adding in the Drysdale Gauthier deal, is just a crazy good by GM Danny Briere. Flyers get Drysdale, Zegras, and pick number 40 for Gauthier, Paling 45, and a 2026 fourth round pick. Try to see if there's anything else. Someone says an initial reaction, an absolute steak for the Flyers. Kevin Kurtz says, a guy that covers the Flyers for The Athletic, says, told from a Flyer source is that the hope is that Trevor Zegras can play center, but we will see. So we'll see. Maybe if they do get Shabanoff, maybe that puts maybe Shabanoff plays wing. You put Zegras at center. It definitely would be very exciting to watch the offensive talents at full front. It definitely would be very exciting to see their, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's a very low risk, high reward type of move. Because he's shown that he can produce at the NHL level. It's just the health. It's just the health. If he can have a healthy season and you put him on a line with Matvei Mitchkov, he's going to produce. He's going to produce. It's just the fact that he needs to stay healthy. He just needs to stay healthy. That was really the thing with Jamie Drysdale, too. There was so much with Jamie Drysdale not being able to stay healthy. And Jamie Drysdale relatively stayed healthy last year. He probably had his best season, even though he didn't really produce that much, and the Flyers really didn't produce that much offense. But Jamie Drysdale he definitely did improve last year from the matter of the fact that he was able to stay healthy relatively. So if Trevor Zegras does stay healthy, you probably will get a lot of production from the Flyers from that standpoint. But that is a really good thing there. That is a very good thing here. Good trade by Danny Briere. I love it very much. So, do want to get to the Anytime Hotline because I know I'm going to have to do some editing a lot later with Hunter, most likely if he's doing a pod, and Russ when he eventually does his thing. So let's get to Sean's call and let's see what he has to say.
Hey, just got the word of the transaction. I'm at work. I haven't really had a chance to look at it in depth, but from my first surface read, I'll say this. Number one, for all those that wanted Danny Briere to do something, he dropped the Dusty Rhodes-style bionic elbow on the NHL. I mean, you wanted him to shake the tree, he shook the tree. On the surface, the trade looks to me like a steal for the Flyers. I mean, you didn't have to part with any of our first rounders. So basically, what, a second, a fourth, and Ryan Paling for Trevor Zegras? I would make that trade any day of the week and twice on Sunday. Solid job by Briere. Now my only question is, I wonder if maybe the path of the draft in the first round shifts a little bit. Do we still go center, or does a Porter Martone or somebody else enter into the equation?
That definitely could be serious. It just really, we have to see how the draft shakes up, because especially with teams like Utah jumping up, Utah, going back to when they were Arizona, they've been very much known to definitely reach and make the surprise picks in the first round. Obviously, they didn't pick, they were the pick right before the Flyers selected Matvei Michkov. Some people were expecting them, Arizona might just take Matvei Michkov. No, they drafted a defenseman from the KHL, which allowed Matvei Michkov to be drafted by the Flyers. There's definitely a major possibility that maybe one of these teams reach. Does Chicago take Martone? Do they want to take a winger with Connor Bedard or something? Is Connor Bedard a center, right? Is Connor Bedard a center, or is he a winger? Connor Bedard, is he a winger? He is a center. Okay, he is a center. So maybe they would take a Porter Martone in that instance, but I'm not sure. Do they think Connor Bedard is a center? Do they want to move Connor Bedard to the wing or something like that? Do they take a defenseman? Does Utah shock everybody? Do they take a defenseman that high in the draft with the top 6, and that allows more people to slide down? I know there's been a lot of talk, obviously, about, Desnoyers. The Flyers are very much interested in him. Same thing with Jake O'Brien. I really don't know what they do. I don't know what they do. Do they trade back? Do they trade back with Buffalo? Did they make a trade with Buffalo? Do you get Bowen Byram? Do you get the 9th overall pick or something like that? Do you trade your 6th overall pick or something like that? Do you basically just pick swap? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Do you expect somebody to fall that most likely will be there at 9, and you can afford that? We'll just have to wait and see. We'll just have to wait and see. I don't know what they're going to do, because like I keep saying, just they keep a lot of things in-house. They keep a lot of news in-house. So we'll see. John Buccigross also throw his 2 cents onto the trade. Old school guys don't like him. Hockey nerds don't like him. I'm still holding on to my Trevor Zegras stock. I think he is a center, and I think he has a second act with a point per game potential. A lot of people just like this trade. It's a very good trade for the Flyers. It really is. It really is. It's a very good trade. And Brandon J. Summerman also put out this with basically what I'm restating right here. One thing that we have learned about general manager Danny Briere is that he operates in the dark. Hardly no leaks from the Flyers. Keith Jones has even said if you hear something with Philadelphia connections, it's probably not true. Not one person has reported interest in Philadelphia for Jason Robinson, so he put it out there when there was a lot of rumors about Dallas possibly hanging around Jason Robertson or something like that. Now that would be very fun. If the Flyers could somehow find a way to get Jason Robertson, that would be very fun, and that would most likely mean the Flyers make the playoffs. But they still got to address the goaltending and all that stuff. I know there's been a lot of rumors about Jake Allen possibly, so we'll see how they address the goaltending going into the offseason. They're definitely not, because I think the words is that Fedotov might be in the AHL next year. So they probably won't roll with Fedotov and Ersson once, most likely. So they're most likely going to get another goaltender. But we'll see. We'll see. We got you guys here in the live chat that keep coming through, and I really much appreciate you guys for tuning in. We got 40 people viewing right now. We have almost 217 views in total. I very much appreciate it. It's been a lot more views than we've been getting recently, and I very much appreciate that. So let's basically go for you guys here in the chat, and we can chat it up until we end it off here. Like I said, I still gotta wait for other guys to possibly do their stuff, because I don't know when Russ is doing his thing. I don't know when Hunter's doing his thing. So we'll see. We will see. I also have to edit the Fighting Words podcast. It says they were supposed to go live like 15 minutes ago, but I wonder if Anthony Sanfilippo got backed up with all this stuff here. So let's get to the chat. Julian says they gave up nothing, and Trevor's issue has always been staying healthy. Yeah, that's basically been his issue. Forever Pure says, and it's a steal for the Flyers. Thomas says, low risk, high reward. I love this. Let Danny cook from Franco. Also reunites Drysdale at York with Drysdale and York if York stays. Danny B. stealing. One less pizza for quitter Gautier. Mind Freak says, can Dombrowski learn from Danny Briere? Who knows? Who knows? McDavid to Philadelphia. Make it happen, Danny. What's up, Zach? How you doing? Where are all those Mets fans? Don Vito, how you doing, Don? He is very shocked at this trade. Mullet petition for Alvarado. I'm a 4 for 4, but is this kid a game changer? I wouldn't say a full-on game changer. Like, it's a very low risk, high reward, like we've been summarizing throughout this entire thing. He is needs to stay healthy. That's basically his main problem. He needs to stay healthy. He has shown that he can produce at the NHL level, but right now not at the point per game pace, and I think that's just more due to the quality of players that he had in Anaheim when he was producing at, his rate. So you put him on a line with Matvei Michkov, possibly he's going to produce if he stays healthy. So maybe he could develop into a game changer. We'll just have to wait and see. He does have all the skill in the world. He just needs to fully figure it out. And I think that just basically means stay healthy. If you stay healthy, you play with Matvei Michkov, you're probably going to figure it out. I wonder what we're going to do for goaltending. We'll see. We'll see. Don says Zegras is a stud. He's still growing. Give him time to develop. He's a future legit first-line center. We'll see, man. Porter Martone gets Zegras another potential winger next to Michkov. Well, they might be getting Shabanov, so we'll see. Unholy says Danny B. Holy shit. Don says I've always liked Jake O'Brien. We'll see where that goes, man. We'll see. Jake O'Brien definitely is very intriguing. I don't mind Jake O'Brien, but we'll see. I prefer James Higgins, but we'll see where it goes. How is Zegras even available? I just think Anaheim it was just a relationship that was just breaking, and they were eventually going to move him. Paling a second 4 for Zegras. Has his stock really fallen that far? He's only 24. Maybe. Great trade for the Flyers. I'm jealous. Thomas says, I mean, if we can revive this career, this is a highway robbery. Yep, exactly. BD says, is this for real? Mitch and Zegras, very nice. Ducks held him back. Let's hope he gets his groove back. He's got talent. Ducks definitely held him back. He scored 61 points in his sophomore season. Yes, he did. Followed by 65 points, only 24, stud at Boston College, 9th overall in 2019. Silky smooth playmaker. Damn him and Michkov on the power play. Jamaican me crazy says should have traded Gibby instead. Should have traded Gibson instead. I'm assuming you're an Anaheim fan, possibly. Jamaican be crazy. I know there's a lot of rumors about Gibson possibly be on the market too, so we'll see. So what? Mitch Marner's over 100 points, 1-0. Zeegs needs line mates. Exactly. He'll get his mojo back. A lot of confidence here. Basically, a lot of the summary is from you guys in the chat. It's a good trade. It's a good trade. Very much a good trade. So we'll see. If the Bob McKenzie, he expects James Higgins to possibly go at 7. Maybe that means, who knows? Maybe the Flyers are doing the same thing that they did with Matvei Michkov, and they're just keeping their draft pick person under wraps, and we have no idea. Maybe they maybe they already brought him to the skate zone or something like that. So we'll see. But I know that Danny Briere there was like a Russian something type of tournament down in Florida or something like that, where a lot of Russian players were, and Danny Briere was down there, so who knows? Danny Briere is trying to recruit every Russian possible. Who knows? And then basically soon after that, you heard the Shabanov rumors, so we'll see, man. We will see. We will see. Let's see. Mike Silsky of the Inquirer also put out there, at its best, if it works out, this is the kind of move that allowed Florida to build its mini dynasty, take a minimal risk on a talented, highly drafted player who perhaps needed a change of scenery. See Sam Reinhart. Maybe that could be the case. Maybe that could be the case. So we'll see where everything goes, man. Who knows? Maybe they do go after Peterka and Byram. Maybe they do. We have to wait and see. We have to wait and see. Let's see. Let's see. Anything else? Anything else? No. I don't think there's anything else. Don't think. Someone said Quinville was like, nope. So we'll see. We'll see where everything goes here, boys. But yeah, I think this is a good spot to end it. I think this is a good spot to end it. So good move by Danny Briere. Very low risk, high reward. if everything does work out. But the Danny Briere is definitely in full effect right now. So, what are your guys' thoughts on this entire thing? What are your guys' thoughts? Don't forget to leave your comments in the comment section down below. I appreciate those. As always, don't forget to drop a like as well. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It does me a very much great deal of service. It is a very much good thing with the YouTube algorithm. You can also drop a like. I already said drop a like and leave a comment. I'm all over the place right here. This threw me for a loop. It really did. Use the code TTPSPORTS, $20 off your first purchase at SEATGEEK. Great deal, don't pass it up. And one more chat right here before we end it off. I'm a TO fan, love the Flyers' direction, and have become a fan thanks to Nasty Knuckles and Ryan. Riley Cote, you have a new sub. Looking forward to next season with Talking the Boys. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. Like I said, hit that subscribe button. Like BD Gaines here says. Hit the subscribe button. Does me a great deal of service. And definitely will be very active in terms of Flyers news this week. Like I said, for Friday, the draft is definitely going to be the main priority. Definitely determining on what I'm doing for the draft. I don't know if I'm going to have to just be here, stream it live. I don't know if I'm doing anything with Snow the Goalie. I don't know if I'm doing anything with Brodes in his draft party. So I'm basically just playing it by ear right now. So you guys will see something. You guys will see something. So appreciate you guys for tuning in.